who's watching this on YouTube can see how exciting. We got out of our little corner. No more.
Although your corner does look very nice, though.
That
looks like it's cozy.
It's very comfy, but it's nice to be in a different space.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are happy to have you.
Oh, we're
at
so
both
excited.
our spaces
Yay.
here. Yeah.
So we're here with Katie, and she is the owner and founder of Vanity Bar here in Fargo. And Saray and I actually just got facials here earlier this week. It was absolutely amazing. We were talking.
Good.
Yes. Yeah, it was great.
Good to hear.
And today we're talking all things skincare. I have so many burning questions that I personally can't wait to get answered. So we are picking Katie's brain.
Yeah.
On business,
Left to right.
skincare, I feel like
everything.
we have a whole gamut of things that we're gonna...
And
I mean, I'm going to take that as a compliment, but you will be quick to see there are some things that I have lots to say on and some that I don't, but I am a big believer in having a great team, as I'm sure you guys are. So I actually asked my team to help answer some of your questions because I am not the expert of everything, and I wanted to make sure I pulled from some of them too. So
Perfect. I love that because you're not a provider, right?
No, I am not a provider.
Okay.
So it's kind of unique for this area, you know, owning the Vanity Bar, but not being on the provider end at all. So not being a provider owner, which a lot of med spas are.
Sure.
I am not. I am strictly on the business side of things. So I really rely on our amazing team and really practice leading from behind, especially when it comes to patient experience, because I'm not the one giving it. So,
Well, and cheers. Because
Yeah,
it's Thursday.
Cheers to Thursday.
Yes.
Yay!
Katie's also great at picking out wine. She just gave us a whole breakdown on where you guys need to be getting your
Sauvignon Blanc from. Yes.
New Zealand only, right?
I mean, it makes you look so much cooler if you can narrow down where you like your wine from.
And we have the cutest little Vanity Bar glasses to drink it out
These are so cute. I know. I love them.
Thank you, guys. Well, and I put some in your bags so that you can take some home, too.
We want to, we're super excited about these, but we want you to tell us everything about it so that we can share it with everyone when we open those.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll save that for the end.
Yes.
That'll be the treat.
That's the treat. That's the
good.
treat. So tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the Vanity Bar.
Yeah. So, you know, I get that question a lot, and I still have yet to condense it into like an elevator pitch. But you know, the idea came about my husband, who is an orthodontist, which is why we're here in Ortho doing the interview. The more and more we were out, and by the way, I'm from Canada, so I say out, like if you hear it, it's not because I'm dumb, I'm just Canadian. So just like, keep that in mind if you hear me say something, you're like, oh, did she not go to college? No, she's just from Canada. So just like, keep that in mind. But anyways, more and more in orthodontics, there's a lot of this layering in of med aesthetics with ortho and even just dental in general. And the main reason being, and my husband explained it to me best, is that, you know, the type of work that he does, he focuses on the face all day long, maybe in kids or adults. And when you move hard tissue, the soft tissue, like your cheeks and your lips and that, all fall differently. So with kids, it doesn't really matter because, you know, they still have chubby cheeks and they have lots of fat and volume and like, it doesn't really matter. But in grown adults, you know, they do Invisalign or they do some sort of treatment. Their teeth and that will be great after, but then sometimes they think, well, gosh, now my cheeks, they look a little hollow, or I didn't realize how thin my lips really were. And so they start to ask these other questions about really kind of, you know, making that result full circle. And so a lot of orthodontists are getting into layering in that aesthetic piece with, you know, you move the hard tissue, then you also support the soft tissue, which is doing filler or Botox or whatever it may be. So that's where the idea came about. But there were lots of constraints that got in our way with my husband being able to offer it. The main one being capacity. I mean, thankfully, he is very busy and he sees lots of kids. And for him to be able to focus and be a perfectionist on that would have been really difficult. But we felt it was the perfect fit to be next door, but to have more of a female-focused brand to this, because we do have male patients, but the majority of our patients and clients are women. And so we really wanted to create the Vanity Bar as a safe space for anyone, but they wouldn't necessarily have to be an ortho patient. And that's kind of how the Vanity Bar is spun off on its own. And now we have an all-female team. Again, not being a provider, I had to really come up with a team that could do the medical practice side as well as the aesthetic side of things, which I think it's important for people to know those are very different things. And for us to be able to offer both, we had to do that not only with the right team, but in the most compliant and legal way possible. And so finding the right people to be able to manage those two buckets of care. And so that's how the Vanity Bar came to be. It really spun out of an ortho idea that led into this, my husband being like, I think you should run with this. And then my very first employee was Amanda, our registered nurse, who was my very first friend here in Fargo when we moved to town.
Oh my gosh.
We did a baby sign language class and we were friends ever since. And then full circle, I approached her about the Vanity Bar and it kind of went from there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense how those correlate. And I just would have never thought about that. But it is. I mean, you get all this work done on your teeth. Why wouldn't you finish the final steps to kind of get that end result that you really want?
Yeah.
Wow. And as an adult, doing ortho in your teens and then growing into, the shape of your face is one thing.
Yes.
But as an adult, doing ortho at 35, 36, I mean, you've already had volume loss and other things. So that result is a lot different because you're not that plump, chubby, 13-year-old, like totally different. So they definitely go hand in hand. Yeah. And we in the future look to do more combo things with the ortho side, talking about full face, rejuvenation and stuff. But right now, it's more of we're neighbors and we love it. And and I get to be next to my husband every other day of the week, which is great.
That's so great.
You also have your separate...
Totally.
You can shut the door and be like, okay,
stay over there. Exactly. It's usually the other way around, him being like, you stay over there. Like, they're so busy on this side.
Get back to work.
So, exactly. Again, the non-provider. I'm just like bebopping around all the time. Yeah.
But I actually really love that you are not a provider, because I think that I don't know. I think that's just unique. I actually thought in order to, and this is probably just my perception, but I thought you had to be in order to, have your own facility, your own clinic. And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And I think there are some extra hoops you have to jump through to do it. But compliance was our number one important factor with starting the Vanity Bar. So it's why we have, Mandy on our team, who is a nurse practitioner and can prescribe, and she's our medical director, but she's here full time, seeing patients, seeing everybody that comes in the door. And that's really important to us versus having, a medical director that may not be on site or, so there were lots of things that we felt the need to really put in place before we opened our doors so that we could instantly build that credibility with patients and clients. Because some people may know me, but again, I'm not the one providing the services. So being able to build that instant credibility and confidence in people is really important. Because, it's not just getting a facial. When you're on the medical side, it is a medical procedure. And we want people to know the risks associated and feel comfortable and confident that we have their best care, we take it to heart.
Yeah.
So,
And it allows you guys to be experts at what you're experts at.
Yes.
I think for a lot of women, we all feel the need to be great at everything. I need to be a great business person. I need to be able to provide this service. I need to be able to be a great wife, sister. I mean, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be able to do it all. So I agree. I love that you understood that, hey, I need help in this area. I want somebody to be the expert here. I think that's really cool.
Well, I think we've all been on teams, and prior to the Vanity Bar, I mean, I worked in consulting, and I mean, you cannot be experts in everything like we started this off with. And knowing that and empowering people on your team to really own a piece of the pie, I think is important in us even collaborating and working together as a team, especially in a small space like ours, which is 900 square feet. Like, we are on top of each other all day long, and so we have to all work together as a team, but also feel ownership and accountability over something that we can have control over. And I think that's, that's something we really strive to do with our team, is everybody has, a bucket, and we really try to make sure that you own that bucket and we collaborate and we align, but that is your bucket and you can, you have final say over XYZ.
I love that. That would make coming to work really rewarding because you essentially, like you said, have that ownership.
Doing your part and feel that pride in your work.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about this before we started recording, but it sounds like for Vanity Bar, you have really made it a goal to make it a community. And this is a place where you're going to come with your girlfriends. This is where you're going to work next to each other and alongside. So tell us a little bit about that, because I've never seen anything like it. And I think it's so cool.
Well, thank you. That's great. I'm glad you think it's cool. I'm sure there are people out there that have stepped into our space and they're like, oh, like I want to be in my private room, like closed up. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. But we use the term social self-care at the Vanity Bar. And I am a big believer in that. When we started researching, when we even just had the idea of the Vanity Bar, I had this idea in my head from other business concepts across the US and Canada. There are some already out there doing it where it is almost Ortho style, where it's very open bay, as we call it. So you feel that sense of community when you walk in, and it's not just in the waiting room and then you're taken down a hallway, and put in a quiet room and you wait for your provider. Even though it is a medical procedure, we very much believe in the power of knowing that there is someone in the chair next to you. And even though they may not be doing Botox, they may be doing filler or something else. It's just knowing that there are other people here that aren't ashamed to come in and talk about, I am investing in myself because I feel like it's something that will make me, look good, feel good, and then go out and do really good things. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, we do have a private room because there are people that just want to request it. Or there are certain procedures like our V-shot or, that we're not going to do those in an open bay, But we really believe in coming in with friends and coming in with a colleague or a peer or your mom, your aunt, your dad, whoever, and, engaging and having fun with the process. Because, I was talking about our Botox parties that we do at the Vanity Bar, and I said they're almost like the old school Tupperware party, where it's like, I've never been to a Tupperware party, thankfully. I can say I'm not like that old. But it is very much that concept. Totally. And the reason we've seen success with it is that reason. It's like, this is an evening or an afternoon or a Saturday that I can get together with X amount of friends, do something for me, but also be there to support my friends that also want to do it for themselves, that maybe have done it before or haven't, but just have some fun with it without removing the medical element of it, like really softening that and being like, you still get a consult. You still understand the risks. Like our team are still following all of the medical rules. We're not coming to your home and giving you Botox, but there's still that element of like, this is, I am taking care of myself with people around me that care about me too. And that is self-care on steroids, So we really believed in the space of having this semi-private dividers between chairs. And as we grow, that will never go away. If anything, we will add more chairs because there is the power of, knowing there are other people around you. Investing in themselves. Yes. And I think that's important. Yeah.
And you build a community. I even think of when I was sitting in your lobby to get our facial done, the girl walks in and we all start talking within that waiting room. And I could see how, you could potentially meet people and just, I think, have that support of not being alone for so long. Yeah. Skincare, Botox, injections, things like that have been very taboo where you didn't talk about it. And that's ridiculous. Why wouldn't we talk about what we're doing? And I think your setting is kind of getting rid of that stigma.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of like we're all in this together. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Everybody can always improve and everybody wants to improve. Yeah. So let's do it together and let's rally.
And by the way, Botox is not going to make you perfect. I mean, we really believe in educating people that like there is no perfect. Like you don't come in and I laugh about this with, my hairstylist. Like, I come in with a picture sometimes and I'm like, listen, I get it. Like, my hair, I get it. Yes. Yeah. Like, I know it's never going to look like that. I can dream, but like, my hair has a different texture. It's a different length. It's a different thick, all these different things. And by the way, the face that is attached to that hair, totally different. So I'm looking at a picture. And it's the same thing with what we do at the Vanity Bar. We are big believers in naturally enhancing what you already have, because it is beautiful and it's different. It is different than the person in the chair next to you. But it is about enhancing, not inflating or giving you something that's not natural, right? I mean, we tell people all the time that the line that we truly carry at the Vanity Bar is, we want you to leave and people to say to you, oh my gosh, your skin looks so good, or oh my gosh, you're glowing, versus, oh my gosh, like, what did you have done?
Right.
If people are asking you that,
I love that.
then that is a signal to us, like, like, that wasn't you. It wasn't true to you.
Yeah.
And we are all about beauty that is true to you, like giving you an enhancement, not an inflation, you know? And so
I love that.
Yeah, that's a
tagline.
very hard line to walk, because we have lots of people that come in and they do want you to cross that line. And so I'm very lucky that we have a team that is confident enough in their ability, and also to know that when someone leaves, you know, their representation of the work that we've done as well.
Right.
And so being really careful to educate people on, you don't need that. Yes, I would love to make the sale of another 50 units of Botox, but you don't need it. You just don't need it, because then they're going to come back, right? So, so I think there's power in that. I think a sales consultant would, you know, slap me on the hand for that. but that's not what we're about. Yeah.
You care about the experience, and you care about the longevity of your clients and the people who come to the Vanity Bar. You don't want them to just be a one and done.
Right.
You want them to see that feeling that they get from when people say your skin is glowing, versus what did you have done? What changed?
Yeah.
I love that.
Or someone saying like, oh my gosh, have you seen her lips? Like that is something like, because I wouldn't want that for myself. So I wouldn't want that for any patient that left our space. So
So you mentioned growth a little bit, and so I kind of want to talk about that, because obviously you guys are new to the community. You opened almost a year ago, right? 8 months?
June 15th we opened.
Okay, so not quite a year yet, and you're already outgrowing your space, which is exciting.
It's a great problem.
It's a great problem.
It is a great problem.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Great question. Okay. I have to be careful, because I've told my team, I'm like, listen, until we're filling every chair, we're not going anywhere, but asterisk, exclamation point. Yes, we are definitely already feeling growing pains. And we knew that was going to happen with our space being as small as it is. But, this was a natural fit for us, being that we were building out, this side of the building, and we had this extra square footage. And so it's been great. Yeah. I think in terms of growth, and I'll just tell you what I've told my team. It has to be authentic, and it has to be financially responsible. So we could go to Bismarck, we could go to Grand Forks, we could go to different places and start popping up different Vanity Bars. But I feel like we're not quite a year old yet. And for us to really carry the brand that we've created, I feel like we have to have enough brand ambassadors to really know what that is, how it works, what that looks like, so that, because I can't be in those other locations. I mean, I have 2 small kids, I juggle driving to school and doing this and doing all those things. So for us, I think the next step would be a bigger location. Yeah. And as I mentioned, we will never get away from the semi-private treatment space. If anything, pie in the sky, the Vanity Bar, the whole concept was having also like a bar treatment area. And so for us, it would be having a bar in our waiting room, not an alcohol bar, but like a skincare bar where you could sit up to it with friends and do your skincare consults at the bar and touch and feel products and do it with your friends.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That ideally was going to be in this space. We just didn't have the space for it to make it all fit. We will have more treatment chairs. We probably would add another room, just because there are some facial treatments that people like the quiet back room, because we have some facials that are all about relaxation, and then we have others that are more results driven. But then even our clinical team, we do some women's health stuff in that we need the private room. So we would add that. I think growth, though, really comes from having enough patients and clients that that no matter where you go, they're going to be there.
They're going to go.
And I know that's the case here. It's just, we need to get past our first birthday. Yes. And we are still adding services and treatments. I mean, our team is so big on education. And so, we're adding more and more. So I think if you ask me this question in a year, I will know exactly where we're going to be and how big the space is going to be. Because lots of those things are already in the works, but they won't be tomorrow, you know? So
we'll come back in 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. You guys will be the first to know.
We'll get it put on the docket.
Yeah, but I think, you know, I think it's really easy, especially in this community. There is lots of things going up and lots of buildings and lots of space. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in a lot of that. And part of it is we want the experience to be on point, but we also need to make decisions that are responsible for our team and our growth in a way that makes sense.
For sure.
And so we are super fortunate that we are already growing out of our space. But we still have some space to squeeze out of it. So we're going to do that and get people more familiar with our brand before we jump into kind of the bigger... Yeah. But ideally, we'd love to have an entertaining space and a patio and like all these things that we're doing tons of events and
I love that. So I just love that social aspect of it. I think of going up to a bar type setting where you do get that consultation. And I can't imagine being next to someone and being like, well, hey, I've actually done that before. You would really like it.
Right.
We're so... I feel like referral based when it comes to skincare and beauty. So if you could potentially grasp onto that in that bar kind of setting, I think that'd be so fun.
I feel like, you know, if Saray were to say, you know, Paige, I tried this and I really loved it, you should try it, I'm probably going to try it. You know, just because you have somebody else's backing, you know.
I think the only caveat to it, and it was in one of your questions too about, you know, the taboo or things about skincare is... being really careful that just because it worked for you, it's going to work for you. And when you get into skincare, not being a provider, one thing I've really learned is everyone's skin is so different. That's true. So, you know, just going off of a referral or the label is a really bad way to choose skincare. And I know we'll come to that, but the whole concept of the bar, yes, having the ability to turn to somebody and be like, oh my gosh, you're going to love exfoliating polish because it is the best. Like it is blue magic in a jar, you know? And then even the event thing, when you come in with 3 friends, being able to sit next to each other and doing the consult, again, where you're not even in a treatment chair, but you're just in a relaxed setting. There's just power to that when you know it's authentic, not when they're just trying to sell you. And I feel like, again, that is a very fine line that we try to run, you know, getting you what you need, not extra just because it makes a sale.
Okay, well, going back into your team and your experts, we got some skincare questions for you.
We do.
Good. We want to know. And I asked them.
Yes. We want to know what your team has told you. So, you know, what is something that you see a lot of people doing to their skin that is really not great for it? What's the worst thing you could do for your skin?
Being in the sun. It is the absolute worst. And listen, I love the sun, but not wearing SPF. Like we tell people this all the time. You want the best anti-aging for the least amount of dollars. It is sunscreen. That's it.
And every day.
Every
not
day,
just when you're out in
like
the sun.
even today on a rainy, crappy day like this, you should be wearing and reapplying it. Like, listen, I want to feel the sun on my face too, and I do it, but I know what that means. But I will layer on that sunscreen every hour when I am in direct sun because
that is I do not do that.
I don't either,
and I
should. Really every hour.
I mean, just like I should. Because on a regular day, you want to be reapplying probably every 4 hours or like touching it up. Yes.
So how do you do that when you have a full face of makeup on?
Great question. So we are the only people in town that carry Super Goop, which I don't know if you guys have tried.
It's unreal.
It is the best.
You use it, right?
I have used it, many of times.
So the great thing about Super Goop and the reason we felt really strongly about bringing it in is that they are a company that only formulates SPF. So their whole mission statement is to basically like protect people from skin cancer. That is their only mission. So every product they make is an SPF. Like that's it. So they make eyeshadow, they make we carry it. It's so great.
You do?
So it's an SPF 30 that you can put on your lids. Now, I don't wear it every day, but when I go on vacation, I throw it in my like pool bag and you can reapply that. And that is, so anyway, the reason we carry Super Goop is It is only SPF, and the price point is amazing on it. It is a good price point for anyone. May you be in college or, entering your 40s, 50s, whatever. They make a product that's great for everyone. We move a lot of Super Goop. But it's because it's great. It's also a really good product. And why it's great is it gives you a lot of options to reapply or to use it, throughout the day. So they make a setting mist so that if you have a full face of makeup, you can spritz your face and your hairline. And then it's an SPF 50.
Wow.
No brainer.
I'm going to buy that before we leave.
Yeah, we sell it in a travel size too.
Good. I'm going to buy two.
And we're really big on having both sizes for people. Because again, people come in and they're like, I've heard the glow screen. Because we move this glow screen product that they make.
Yes. Okay.
It's amazing. It's the best. And we sell a lot of it. But we sell it in minis because for a lot of people, they're like, well, what if I don't like it? So we're like, just get a mini. Try a mini. If you love it, come back, So, so to circle back, SPF it really is the best. Like if anyone comes in, they're like, oh, I do like Rodan & Fields or whatever. And we're like, okay, but if you're going to have one product, it has to be SPF.
Yeah.
And Super Goop, you can't go wrong because they make everything from a tinted, a base. Like that's all I wear for makeup is their CC screen.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just a tinted and it's an SPF 40 and I wear that as a base. And that's it. Yeah. So
I did not know this.
Amazing.
So many things. Listen, there are so many things. And I am not the provider, but if I can tell you one thing, SPF is where it's at.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
I recently
just
got
not
into...
at night.
Yeah.
You did.
Not at night.
Yeah.
I recently really got into sunscreen probably about 2 years ago, and which I know is probably not the greatest, but hey, it's better late than never.
Hey, at least you're doing it now. I didn't either. Yeah. I didn't wear sunscreen. So you had a question here about what I do 15 years ago. I would tell myself,
wear
sunscreen.
Yeah,
I agree.
Put baby oil everywhere else on your body, but put sunscreen on your neck and face.
Absolutely.
That is where, and hands. Those are the 3 areas that are going to show you're aging the most.
Hands. I didn't think of that.
Oh,
Do
yes.
you have a hand?
Yes. Super Goop makes a hand screen.
Should we go over there now?
We brought it in at Christmas, and my team was kind of like, hand screen. And I was like, you guys, like, it is legit. It smells like Christmas. It's like cinnamon.
Oh.
And it's a lotion, but it's an SPF.
Cool.
Yeah. So again,
so cool.
But the skin on your hands, neck, and face are your most delicate. And so that's where you will show aging.
Yeah.
And I think
Bestest.
of Paige and I, we drive a lot.
Oh,
we spend
my
a lot of
gosh.
time in our cars,
Yeah.
and I've always heard that your hands,
Yes.
especially if you drive a lot, I mean, people wear like driving gloves to
Love
literally keep their hands
Yes.
out of the sun.
Yes.
I need some hand sunscreen.
Same.
Yeah.
ASAP.
I mean, listen, we have
ASAP.
patients that get filler in their hands because
Really?
because they've aged
know what?
so
I have
much.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives great results, but you can avoid that potentially if you also just wear
sunscreen.
Yeah.
Skip the
Yeah.
filler,
Yeah.
put it off a
Put
couple
on the-
years.
Yes.
Wear
Put
the
on some
sunscreen. Okay.
Okay, so that's the worst thing. What's the best? Best thing. Or wait. Yeah, the best.
What's
The best
the
thing-
best thing you can do for your skin? Worst thing you can do for your skin is not wear
Not
sunscreen.
wear
Is not wear. The best thing you can do is wear sunscreen.
Yes.
But I would say if it isn't wear SPF, which it is, the second thing would be the best thing for your skin is to have a good skincare regimen, and that means. And some of my girlfriends, they're almost 40 and they don't wash their face before they go to bed. And the worst thing you can do, I know. I mean, even when I was 19, and in Canada, 19 was like the legal age to go to the bars. And I'd have to wash wash off makeup.
Yes.
But I have lots of friends that still to this day, they're like, I'm so tired at the end of the night. Like, I just want to crawl into bed.
At minimum,
No.
you need a makeup wipe.
Yes.
Like, I have, because I've been there. I've been there before where I'm like, I literally cannot leave this bed to wash my face, but I keep makeup wipes next to my nightstand.
Oh, sure.
Nice.
Worst case scenario. I
Yes.
know it's not great. I know
No,
makeup
they're not
wipes
great,
are
but that's okay.
It's
It's an
ideal.
attempt.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? This is my bare minimum. This is
Yes.
where I'm going to try.
Yeah. I think that people have to, when people come to the Vanity Bar, we really teach them healthy skin habits. And one of them is having a good regimen that does not have to be 6 products. Like,
I love that.
literally,
too.
you can start with 3 products. Cleanse, exfoliate, tone. That's it. That's all you need. If you're scared about anything else, those are the 3 steps. Basically, ZO, the medical grade line that we carry, they call it GSR, getting skin ready. And those are the 3 steps. And from there, you can build, whatever. But every morning and every night, you need to cleanse, exfoliate, and tone. Especially exfoliate, because when you are wearing sunscreen and that during the day and makeup, like, you've got to get that dead skin off. You have to get that gunk off. It's just... I remember we were at a conference and one of the speakers was like, when you go to bed with makeup, like, you age your skin like a year every time.
Oh my gosh.
Think about it.
I will never do that again.
I know.
Now take that with an asterisk, but even if it ages you a month every time you do it, it's
absolutely
not worth it.
No, it's not.
Especially when you've had someone like me who has had unhealthy skin habits until about the age of like 26. So, like, my skin needs the TLC. I don't need to age it any further.
Right.
So the best thing you can do for your skin outside of wearing SPF is to have a good regimen of at least getting your skin clean morning and night. Okay. If at all at night. So you wake up in the morning, and even if you just tone in the morning to get rid of the sebum and the oil from sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you have a simplified way to do that, because sometimes I've tried, I feel like, everything under the sun for my skin.
I really have.
I struggled with acne horrible, and it was so strange. And I think a lot of people, actually, the more I've talked about it, the more I see a lot of people relate.
It's very common.
It hit when I went to college, which was so weird. It was like, it wasn't when I was in high school when you kind of hear about it, but one thing that I have learned is sometimes less is more.
Totally.
And so I love that you say it doesn't need to be this huge ordeal. It can be simple, still effective.
Yes. So again, we get lots of patients and clients come in that they're like, oh, like, I only want clean beauty and stuff. And like, that's fine. That's why we carry Eminence. Super Goop is mineral based. It's, very gentle. Like, it's also great. But if you want to get into a great regimen to repair your skin barrier. So we get a lot of questions or people that come in and they're like, well, my skin is really sensitive. And again, I'm going to say we, but not really me, but our clinical team and even our skin specialist team, what they have learned going through the certifications and stuff for ZO is that their sensitive skin really isn't a thing. It's unhealthy skin. It's unhealthy skin barrier.
Yeah.
So things like acne, redness, dry, flaking, super oily. A lot of that, yes, is it's very common, but a lot of it is also due to the fact that just your skin barrier, you haven't restored a healthy skin barrier, which is why ZO, which is actually an Obagi line. So Dr. Obagi, who's a dermatologist, he had his old line, which was Obagi Skincare, which other people carry. This is his new line. And he builds it all on 3 basic steps and then adding on from there. Because if you're going to do anything, it's cleanse, exfoliate, and tone. So they have different cleansers and different, for your skin type. But what we really tell people is, if there were a magic serum at Target or anywhere else that you could just buy and it would make your skin amazing and glowy, like, we would own it.
Yeah.
I would sell it. Guess what? I would have that one product and that's it on my shelf. And I would say, come get the magic product. But that is not real life. And I feel like we have a lot of people that come in and they have this thought in their head that they're going to leave with one product and that's going to change their life. And so when they do have that mentality, we really steer them towards SPF, because we're like, if you only want one product,
this is it.
Then SPF is where you need to be. Because you can't just buy a cleanser and have it change your life. You can't just buy a toner or a moisturizer. And actually, we don't even sell that many moisturizers, because a lot of the components of the ZO Skin Health program, it's not a basic moisturizer. It's about just restoring hydration to your skin without having to layer on like a water barrier to your skin. So anyway, again, you could get into this with my clinical team more than I can answer this. But I think the worst thing you can do for your skin is to not invest or even educate yourself in having a consult, like learning about what is happening with your skin and being open-minded to what our solutions may be. Because some people come in and they're like, nope, I've tried it all. I just want a cleanser. And you're like, okay, but
we're trying to educate
you. Or it's like, you have to give it 6 to 8 weeks.
And your skin also changes too. My skin from when I was in college to now. completely different.
Yes.
I mean, your skin changes. So
or having babies. We get that a lot. Like,
that's a good point.
You know, after having kids, everything is different. And there's nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah.
It's being able to come in and ask your questions, but actually hear the responses as well.
Be receptive.
And either be receptive to it or get a second opinion. And that is totally okay, because you would get a second opinion with a lot of other medical things. But I think trusting the process with skincare is also really important, because we'll get a lot of feedback sometimes like, oh, I'm a week in and my skin is so red. And we're like, okay, but you're a week
It's
in.
only a week.
Like, you have to give it, which is why we schedule follow-ups for skincare 4 weeks out. Like, you have to give it 4 weeks, because your whole skin, basically, it has to turn over, and that takes a lot of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's something you wouldn't think of, or some people are like, I don't want to wait 4 weeks. And you're like, okay, well, best of luck.
Then fine.
Like, I mean, honestly, like,
best of luck.
prayers are with you, and I really do hope the best, but sometimes you just have to trust the process and go with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, we kind of like went on down a...
this was amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I have this question because and this is totally just off for my own personal